Hello my friends, welcome and Happy New Year! This is Dani from Perth, Western Australia, and this is my channel, A Knitter's Suitcase, where, as you know, we talk all about knitting, about yarn, about the projects that are off the needles, on the needles, that will be on the needles, and that are already, we are already knitting up in our minds. You're very welcome here. I was looking forward to chatting to you, all the new friends. Big welcome, especially to the new ones. But the Christmas period has been extremely busy here, and so I did not have time. I did manage to find a bit of time for knitting though, and that's how I am able to share with you today three finished projects, three I believe works in progress, and also some acquisitions. So stay tuned, grab your project or just your ironing. I have had a chance of meeting some of my viewers at Calico and Ivy, where I work here in Perth, a beautiful yarn and fabric store. You must visit the online website if you haven't yet. And they confessed, one of them, I think Andrea is her name. Nice to see you, Andrea. She said, I watch you while I do the ironing. And I do understand, because that's what I do, you know, with the podcasts I follow. I have them on when I cook, when I clean, when I do the ironing. A little bit of housekeeping. If you want to interact with me, this channel has got a email address, which is aknittersuitcase@gmail.com, and you find me active mainly on Instagram as A Knitter's Suitcase, or you can find me at Calico and Ivy. And we can meet in person and have a chat. If you're not from Perth, you must definitely come and visit when you're in the area. As we are on this topic, I just wanted to put there a little disclaimer, because in all my episodes, I always mention the place where I work and where I source a lot of my yarn. And that's because I love the place, I love working there. It's a source of huge inspiration, because a lot of very creative people are there daily, not only my colleagues but all the customers. But I have no support for this podcast by the shop. I'm not advertising their yarn or the shop itself in exchange for any sort of specific income. I do get a little bit of discount on the yarn and notions and books that I buy there, but that's something that all staff are entitled to. So just wanted to put it out there for clarity. So finished objects, I had already recorded these, but problem with January in Australia is that the family is at home, everybody's on holiday, so they interrupted, and I don't remember what I said, so I'll start anew with finished objects. The first finished object I was talking about is my Tooticky jumper by Julia Wilkens. This was a test knit I did for Julia, and I cast this one on in June. Completed the test knit that required only to knit down to the armhole, and then I left it on the side because of course I was distracted by other things, and then I finally picked it up in a couple of months ago and completed it in November. Now, as you can see, this is a full jumper with long sleeves, full length, is knitted top down, and it has got raglan construction for as far as the shoulders are involved, in half fisherman rib. It's knitted on 3.5 millimeter needles, and the yarn I used for it is Bendigo Woolen Mills Luxury in the 8 ply weight, in two colors, which are delphinium for these really beautiful bright blue, light blue, and boysenberry for this purple color. As usual, you know, choosing the colors was part of the fun for me, and I really wanted to be daring. I started swatching with this blue and a dark gray that I had in stash, and of course it looked all right, but it didn't quite look exciting as I like my knits to be. So then I settled on this combination, and I think it's so good and it suits me quite a bit. I think when I posted the finished object on Instagram, a lot of people liked it, so I think I did all right. Now, to go in detail in this project, this is called Tooticky, I already said it, and it was featured on the cover of a beautiful book by Line Publishing, which is The Art of the Sea, 23 knitwear designs inspired by the Moomins. So it was a beautiful achievement for Julia, the designer, to be featured on the cover with her version, which is a striking red and white version. Also, this is a fruit of my modification to the pattern. The stripes in the original one are not as thick as these. My stripes are actually twice as thick as the original pattern requires. So the one you see by Julia and by other testers on Ravelry, of course, all my details will be linked below, so you can go on my Ravelry page and see the details. The other stripes are much thinner than I did, but you know, I always like to personalize my knits a bit. What makes this jumper particularly innovative, if you want, is the fact that it's actually knitted inside out. So while this would be the look of your half fisherman rib texture, worked on the right side, with increases that create these typical V's. You see all of these effects on fisherman rib, also on brioche garments or accessories where increases are present and actually are often used to create motifs on the fabric. In this case, that's hidden in the inside, and what you achieve on the outside is a beautiful effect where the raglan is quite well marked. Of course, that's Julia's choice of doing it on a few stitches rather than just a one stitch or two stitches or three, as it may sometimes happen. And it's like highlighted by these little dots that are not holes, it's just how the V on the inside looks on the outside, or better on the reverse, because that would be the right side. In it, it's very easy to achieve. Do not get scared by this complicated description I did. It's very easy to achieve. It's just inside out. The only moment when you really need to be careful is when you complete the neckline, because you start with the neckline, which is folded. It's stockinette neckline folded. So you knit the first part, and then you knit the same amount of rows, and you knit together the cast on with the last row of the neckband and then you need to start with your half fisherman rib stitch. So you need to make sure you are on the right side of it, if you know what I mean. This is another thing that I've seen in other testers' versions that I loved, is the fact that they used two colors also for the neckband. So they did the inner part, for example, in this case I could have made it in purple, and then they did the outer part in the other color. I did it all in blue. I regret that a little bit, but it's okay. I love this jumper very much anyway. The cuff and the hem, the bottom, are just finished. Oh, there's a hair there, sorry. Are finished with a normal ribbing, 1x1 ribbing, which, you know, creates a really nice transition with the ribbing in the fisherman. And what I did, I just completed it with a normal, I don't know if it shows at all. Do you see it if I hide my face? It's just a simple bind off. It's huge, it's very cozy. I mean, nothing is as cozy and squishy as Fisherman Ribble Brioche. That's why I really like it a lot. But this kind of stitch can create quite a drapey fabric if you use a yarn that's finer, that's softer. This yarn by Bendigo Wool and Mill is quite a woolly wool. It's got quite a bit of body to it. So considering, you know, the combination of the yarn and the stitch, it's absolutely gorgeous and cozy, and I can't wait for the cooler weather to wear it. Did I say I knitted size 2? That's what I did. I'm not sure that was clear. And what else I can tell you? The total amount of yarn I used for it is 593 grams, and I used 300 grams for the blue, which is the main color, and 293 for the purple, the contrast color. Maybe if I had done the neck in both colors, I would have been just on the same. I would have ended up with just the exact same amount of yarn for it, for the two colors. That's I think most of the things I wanted to say. The only other thing I will add is that it's happened before to me with this sort of stitch, like the brioche or fisherman rib. When it's a whole jumper particularly, it may tend to grow in length with blocking. And what happened in this case was quite a considerable growth, which I think is also due to the yarn, because I had already noticed it and I was accounting for it when I measured the length. I had already noticed it, as I was saying, in the swatch. So I can tell you this one grew about 20% in length after blocking. I hopefully have already added some photos of me wearing it next to me, and it's the right length as it is now. It's really cozy, it's beautiful, and I'm really happy for Julia because it's been quite a success for her and a big milestone, being, you know, on the cover of a liner publishing book. Please check Julia's designs. I had been following her for a while because I really like her style. Most of her pieces are the typical thing that you will end up grabbing all the time from your wardrobe. They look super easy to wear. They always have some nice twist, often achieved, you know, adding bright colors, which is something I love. And yeah, she really is a designer that is up my alley, and I hope you will add her to your favorites if you don't know her yet. Thank you so much, Julia, if you're watching, for letting me test this one. It's always a joy to meet new knitters, to experience new, you know, knitting challenges, learn new skills by trying patterns that you haven't actually read. completely before applying for the test knit. I think it's a really cool challenge, and I find myself having a beautiful piece of knitwear added to my wardrobe, so it's a 5-star. I will just flash very quickly the pages in my journal where I put down all my notes about this, and as you can see, I did quite a bit of collage work on them because I was really inspired by the colors. And yeah, and I'm sure I will love going back to this journal and opening this page and being remembered of the happy time I spent knitting on this one. Second finished object I'm sharing with you today is a completely different knit. It's a summer knit, and it's my Anglesea tee by Susanna Kaartinen of the brand Sanna & Co. That if you're a regular, you know very well, because I kind of test every other pattern she releases, just because I love them all so much. Well, when she published, sent out the call for this one, I was really hooked because I had been planning to add some summer knits to my wardrobe. I definitely prefer knitting wool, so I haven't got so many summer knits, and I really wanted to make my wardrobe a bit richer under that regard. So I loved, jumping in on this one, and as it wasn't a secret test knit, it was a public test knit, I had already seen some of the details in her profile, and I knew I would love knitting this one because it's just a bit like the other jumper. I think I'm slowly realizing that what appeals to me the most is clean lines, is easy to wear pieces with entertaining details that are not too much in your face, apart from the color. There I like to be in your face, but it's those elements that I immediately could spot in this kind of top. It's called the Anglesea top, and I knitted for Susanna size 2 on 3.5 millimeter needles, while the pattern requires 3.75, but I often find myself in the position where I need to go down 1 or 2 needle sizes because I'm quite a loose knitter. And the yarn I decided to use is a yarn that was completely new to me, and it's Isager Palet. So it's 100% cotton yarn, which has got a bit of a tape construction, and is a 5-ply equivalent, I would say, sport equivalent. It's actually 160 meters in 50 grams. It was not super easy for me to find a completely plant fiber yarn of that thickness, and in the end I just decided to go for this one, which was available at Calico and Ivy, so also easy for me to source, and I'm really happy. It did feel a little bit dry in my hands when it was on the ball, but actually after blocking and wearing it, you can see it's quite floaty and it's quite drapey. It's really lovely to wear. I have been wearing this one so much. Another one of the elements that really caught me is the fact that this top has got a bit of a different construction. As you can see, the eyelets go horizontally in the center and vertically on the sides, because you knit this one bottom up by knitting the front panel and the back separate, because they are this sort of design element is present also at the back. So you knit these central panels bottom up, And then you pick up stitches along the side of these panels, casting on a few stitches on the shoulder here, and you start knitting up and down. So here around the shoulder down, around the shoulder up. So there's very, very little knitting in the round in this garment. The only knitting in the round you do is, no, it isn't even here, sorry. I remembered that this was knitting. There's no knitting in the round in this garment, but it's okay because I don't mind purling really. It's okay for me. And what you do is you start doing some decreases on the shoulder and on the top of the sleeve so that you create this sort of line, which is a very nice design detail, and at the same time it allows the shoulder to drop and hug your shoulders, go around your shoulders, until then you carry on knitting a little sleeve, and that's it. The edges are all kind of raw, that is, you just finish the sleeves with a few knitted rows, and then you bind off, and that's what you achieve at the neck as well. But in this case you pick up stitches from around the neckline, both at the front and at the back, and you just knit a few rows of stockinette so that the neckline just rolls out a little bit, while at the bottom is kind of the same. There you go. So you pick up stitches all around and you knit a few rows that curl up. The stitch pattern is very, very simple, just a stockinette and then some rows of eyelets framed by some garter. So super easy. And this means that you don't have an awful lot of purling to do, as you may feel you have, considering this is not knitting in the round. You have to close the two sides under the arm. In this case it's with a 3 needle bind off, and for the sleeve up here is just by sewing with a bit of mattress stitch that I'm not very good at doing, so it doesn't look particularly neat. Anyway, you see just this little bit, so we can go with it, untidy as it is. The only little challenge that I encountered, but you know, it wasn't really a big challenge, is the fact that I did not manage to get exactly the same gauge as Susanna. And in this case, it's something you need to watch, because considering you are knitting bottom up on one panel and sideways on the other, you need to make sure that, you know, when you pick up stitches for the sides, you do not get a step here, or you do not see this side, you know, growing like that if you pick up too many stitches, or going in like that if you pick too few stitches. You need to, you know, pay attention to that. It does help the fact that Susanna gives you a ratio. She doesn't only say, when you get to picking up stitches, pick up this many stitches. It also helps you to find the right ratio of picked up stitches per pattern repeat, which is huge help, and it worked absolutely fine for me. Not only, I also shortened it. I shortened it by quite a few repeats of the pattern in the body, because first of all my row gauge was bigger, so I knew that given the same number of rows, mine would have been longer, and secondly, I didn't quite wanted it as long as the pattern required. So for example, in my case, the front would have had, for the size 2, 21 repeats of the stitch pattern, while I did only 17. The back has got a certain number of extra repeats, and I added those. And then for the sides, I just went for, following, as I said, the pick up ratio that Susanna gave. So once again, testing this one was a breeze, because Susanna's patterns are beautiful. All of them, if not most of them, are also tech edited by Jan of the Fibermates podcast, who is a great tech editor, so that helps a lot. And it was kind of addictive to knit as well. It sort of turned me into a monogamous knitter for a while. So I really loved it. It grew very, very quickly. I cast on the 7th of November and completed on the 10th of December, which I know may not seem like quick, but it is for me, because life is full of things. And so, yeah, another 5 stars out of 5. Really, really loved it. The final measurements for me are 49 centimeters long and 49 centimeters wide, so it's completely boxy. I think it's right to say so. Again, go to the Ravelry page that I'm listing below to see all the details about my numbers, etc. And yeah, have a think about knitting this one. It'll become your favorite summer knit. The third finished object, it's actually a collection of 3, is not in my hands, as it was a Christmas gift. They were Christmas gifts, and they're not knitted either. They are just 3 very cute Christmas stockings that I did saw for 3 friends. So I just went on Purl Soho, the yarn website, where you find also a few tutorials and free patterns for sewing. And I grabbed the pattern for their felted stocking. I'll link that below, the felt stocking. And I used that one to cut out the shape after having created panels of fabric by joining 2-inch strips of different fabrics, so as to create this little bit of patchwork effect. And then I added a thick band at the top as the cuff, to be like the cuff of the stocking. I only patted and quilted the front, while the back and the was not quilted, and the inside, for the inside I just used some spare fabric I had at home. What I also added, because I thought it was a very nice touch, was the initial of the recipient. So being that it was mom, dad and a boy, I did mom and dad's initials on a scrap of linen. I embroidered them with a little simple chainette stitch, and then I stitched it on the stocking and added a button to create as if it were, a tab over the cuff of the sock. While for the boy, I went for a cross-stitched little square initial in red, as you can see, and I just attached to it, slanted a little bit. And it was such a fun little project to complete, not difficult at all, and it was appreciated, and it was really a lot of fun to make. So yeah, you may put it down in your in your notes for next year's Christmas gifts, maybe. Now it's time for the works in progress. Now, I've got 3 works in progress I want to view today. And one is a completely unexpected one. One is a planned one, and one is a secret one. So starting with the secret one, I am again testing a pattern. I don't know what's happening to my hair there. Sorry. I'm again testing a pattern, but unfortunately it's a secret test, so I cannot reveal much. I'm really excited. I've swatched, but I haven't cast it on yet because I want to finish the other one that I'll show you in a minute first. But I think it's no sin if I show you the yarn that I'm using. And the yarn is a combination of 2 strands. So it's this beautiful purple color, and I will be using this beautiful tweed yarn, which is Isager Tweed. Look at that, look at the colors of the speckles. Isn't it so fun? There's red, there's sort of pinkish, there's blue, there's purple, dark purple. It's beautiful, together with a strand of Alpaca. So they're both Isager yarn, both from Calico and Ivy again. This is tweed, this is Alpaca 1. Alpaca 1 is such a lovely yarn to substitute mohair, basically. So being a lace weight yarn, it helps you make your yarn a bit thicker. It helps you soften your yarn because it's 100% alpaca. But it doesn't give you that much halo that you may sometimes not feel drawn to, or is a good option for people who can't have mohair. In this case, I really wanted to showcase the flex in the tweed. So I thought that this lace weight addition rather than mohair would, you know, allow me to enjoy much more all the bits in the tweed. And I'm totally happy with the combination of the two. And I've got gauge, so I'm ready for it. This is a bag. I'll just talk briefly of the bag. This is a bag I made myself, and I put a little iron-on patch on it. It's a recycled denim fabric that I got in Melbourne the first time I went to Bendigo, and my friend Gayan took me around the city. Inside has got this pretty gingham lining, and the drawstring has got hearts. This is a bag that's in high rotation. It's pink, you know me, I'm pink. And it's a nice size, and yeah, I really love it. Very well. Sorry for teasing you with that one, but I thought you may like to see the yarn anyway. The one that I'm actually working a lot on, the one work in progress I'm completely devoted to at the moment, is this one, which is again talking about project bags, living in another one of my own sewn project bags. This is this one I knitted together with another 20 for the knitting group that I used to be part of in the UK, established by the lovely Lucy of These Nanny Knits. You must follow her if you don't. And yeah, I sewn project bags for all the participants in the group, and I added this little patch with a little heart as well. It's got a fun, again, gingham pink lining and contrasting pockets. The pocket inside are in the same fabric as the outside, and again it's a drawstring because I really hate when my yarn gets trapped in zippers, so it's all drawstring for me. What I'm talking about, apart from project bags, I'm talking about my Laulu tee. Here it is. Da 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 da. Now I think this color is blowing up a little bit, and you don't see the lace completely well. There you go. So let me tell you more. The Laulu is I think it's pronounced like that, I'm not even sure. It's a pattern by Sari Nordlund, and she's got a mini collection where she's got the long sleeve sweater. Here it is. She's got, and 2 summer patterns and a scarf, little scarf, I think, also. The 2 summer patterns are a sleeveless, like a tank top, and a tee with sleeves. I really, really, really like this motif, which is a combination of cabling and lace. And I really wanted this top to feature it, because I think the recipient of this top will love it too. But I didn't like the T version Sari has got, because in my opinion the neckline doesn't sit very well. It's a very high V, and it gives me the feeling like of strangling a little bit the person wearing it, so I just didn't want to go with that. But I decided to turn the sweater into a tee. So the yarn I decided to use is Susanna's Garn Tin Line. Here it is, that I'm holding double, because I really like this color, which is color 4108 Flame Scarlet. It's actually more of a coral or a orangey sort of red, but that's the name that Susanna's Garn gives it, Flame Scarlet. And when I first grabbed the yarn to swatch, the shop, because this is from Calico and Ivy again, did not have the DK version, the line, so I went for the tin line double, and I liked the fabric so much, so I've decided to knit the whole thing in tin line, held double. I'm knitting size 2, and so basically what I have been doing was omitting the neckband that in Sari's version is a folded neckband, so double thickness. She starts at the neck, of course, because this is a round yoke jumper, so you start at the neck and you knit out, and all the increases you need to widen your fabric are worked within the lace repeats, and the increases are hidden, so you don't see any specific lines like at the raglan, or you don't even see sometimes round yokes in stockinette. You can still see the little spots where one stitch becomes 2, but in this case it's all perfectly seamless and completely hidden. And then you split for the sleeves. There's a few little increases after, if I remember correctly. No, there are no increases after the yoke. After the yoke there are no increases. You need just a few more rows, and you introduce, if you want, some short rows, and I did do so. I added short rows at the back. There we go. And now I have completed the sleeves. Of course, in this case, the sleeves are not long, are short sleeves, so better they reach more or less the elbow. And I have followed the decrease ratio that Sari recommends for her sleeves. Just in this case, they end up much sooner, and I have just done a tiny bit of extra decreases before the cuff. There you go. The 1x1 ribbing that I've used to complete the sleeves are then bound off in the traditional way. No sewn bind off. In this case, particularly because I find that kind of bind off tends to stretch a little bit more, and plant fiber, of course, is not as elastic as wool. So I think that the traditional bind off will help giving the ribbing a little bit more of, you know, body, keep it together more. Now I'm carrying on the body, and I think I will end it, finish the body with a little bit of ribbing, one by one ribbing like this one. I'm unsure about the neck. I'm not sure I want ribbing around the neck. I have considered having just a little I-cord, but I may need some suggestions. What would you do? Let me know. I will also try another photograph of me trying it on. I think the neckline is really nice as it is, in terms of the width, in terms of how it sits around my neck. The person who's receiving these is similar to me, so should work. I wouldn't want it to get closer to my neck, but at the same time, what do we think? Is it a bit too raw like that? It is to be said that this little bit of the first sort of bit of the cables may kind of look like a bit of ribbing. Please help me decide. Will you? Thank you. Yeah, not much more to say. Oh yeah, no, something more to say is that I have been not struggling, but I had to pay more attention than I thought to, you know, while knitting the yoke. I was inspired to pick this one by Ashley at Smash Knits. She did hers as a sweater in a beautiful bright pink, and it was beautiful, so I thought it would look great in this color too. And she said, oh yes, it looks intricate, but I was okay. I knitted it watching TV, so I probably approached it with a little bit too much self-confidence. And I realized, on the contrary, that, you know, my menopausal foggy brain needs to pay attention more. So I had to undo it quite a while. I had to quite a bit. I had to go back, because you see the cables change directions all the time, and yeah. And there is still a spot in the back when there's some imperfections, but honestly, I'm not being bothered with that one. I have re-knitted, I have laddered and redone one of the short rows bits. It still shows a bit, but hopefully when it's blocked it won't, because it was a bit too gapey, but the yoke stays as it is. So my suggestion is, do it, but pay attention. Final work in progress is one that I'm loving so much. It was a complete unexpected cast on, which, I mean, it sounds quite inappropriate to say, because I decided to cast it on, so of course it was in my plans. But the truth is, I had this beautiful yarn in my stash since last July. I got 2 skeins of this one at Bendigo during the sheep and wool show, and this is Litcham wool, farm to yarn to you, 100% Purl merino wool, and their farm is in South Australia on ethically and sustainably managed Purl. Wool is grown in South Australia on ethically and sustainably managed Purl merino sheep. Litcham uses all available technology to produce a product that is extremely soft and lustrous with zero prickle factor. And I promise you, this is the softest merino I have ever tried. I don't know, you can't quite see the halo here, but in my opinion, it's comparable to cashmere, really. I dearly invite you to try it when you happen to be able to, because it's glorious. The colorway I got is Lagoon Kingfisher 4-ply. And of course, there are also washing instructions because it's extremely luxurious wool and you want to, you know, pay attention to how you work it. 4-ply, 100 grams, approximately 400 meter. And the gauge for it is expected to be 28 stitches and 36 rows on 3.25 millimeter needles. Now, I got these two skeins that I fell in love with, and I think they are such a good color for me, planning to knit a shawl, because something so small, so soft and luxurious can, in my opinion, only become a shawl. And I don't know, let me know if you've tried it. I would be a little bit worried about it peeling if I had to use it for a sweater. But if you have, give me a review. I'd love to hear, because the softness of this one is unbeatable, I think. So for such special yarn in such a bright and strong color, I really wanted the right shawl pattern. I had been thinking about a lace shawl because I think lace in this yarn will be super soft and airy and light, but I went on Ravelry and hunted for it quite a bit, and I couldn't find one that I was really in love with. And then this number of Line magazine came out. This is winter 2026, okay? And while I was paging through it, I found a shawl that I completely fell in love with, and it did look exactly like what I had in mind. There it is. That's the Kuta shawl. No, sorry, the Kuze shawl, wrong name. That's the Kuze shawl by Raina Cruz. Raina is a librarian by trade, and she designed this, she's from Cose Uemoisa, not right, a small borough near Tallinn in Estonia. And she loves exploring new patterns and techniques. This one, the stitch pattern, was reminding her of spruce leaves and branches, and that's why she called this pattern Kuse, which means spruce in her language. In the original, it's worked with 2 strands of yarn held together, a delicate blend of wool and silk mohair. And I just think it's looking absolutely amazing in my special skein by Leaching Farm. Oops. There it is. Isn't it beautiful? I think on camera it's looking a bit darker, a bit more saturated than it actually is, but in real life it's a little bit paler. Now, of course, I'm halfway through a row because that's what I do. It's a triangular shawl, started with a little tab here in the center, if I'm not wrong. I started it some time ago, really on a whim, just because I saw the pattern and I thought that, you know, it had to be the one for this yarn. And now I don't quite remember how I started it. It's got a garter edge, and you keep increasing along the center and on the side. Again, all the increases are hidden in the stitch in the lace repeat, and I can't love it more, because I do like lace a lot, but I don't like when lace is a bit too intricate, and when it's got big, you know, really lacy borders with the picot edges and all of that. I mean, I like that, but I would like that in a very woolly wool to balance the very feminine sort of style, while I find quite a geometric style lace is more my cup of tea. And I must say it's also really repetitive and quite easy to knit. The pattern offers you both a chart and written instructions, so you can choose the one you like. If I'm not wrong, let me go back and check, because as I said, I started this one on a whim, and I know for sure that no, it's like that. It's both. I started it and I'm just using the chart because I really like a chart, but if you want it, you have both options. These will grow, you know, slowly when I have a bit of time, because now my priority is finishing the coral tea, the Laulu tea, and completing and casting on my test knit. But it will have a lot of love because I really like the combination of the two, pattern and yarn. I will, as I've got this publication here, I would also like to share with you a few other patterns that I really like from this issue. One of them, the first one of them, is Morning Light, and it's this beautiful, very contemporary looking, in my opinion, jumper with a simple but striking color work. That's the description that they give. The simple but striking color work motif echoes sunlight filtering through snow-laden trees, and that's quite captivating. I like the shape, quite kind of boxy, and I like that the color work has quite a statement, has the effect of creating a statement band around the body. Another one that I really like is the Nika. There we go, by Rebecca Mauser. Nika is one of those jumper that do look a bit like achieved through slip stitches. In this case, it is not achieved through slip stitches, but it's got this texture created in two different colors that remind a little bit of jacquard fabrics, of those machine knitted fabrics that were really popular in the 70s. I really love those, and I think this one, as beautiful as it is in a you know, sort of a earthy version like this one, would be super fun if knitted with contrasting bright colors, or a neutral and a bright one, even neony, would be really lovely. It's got a gorgeous drop shoulder, and I understand it's got short rows around the shoulder to make it you know, sit more nicely around your bust. It says it's worked from the top down, both flat and in the round. It starts with an I-cord, which creates a beautiful detail across the back shoulder. Both body and sleeve length can be easily adjusted. That's a very good one. I will keep an eye on it, well, in my endless list of projects I like. Another one that I think deserves a mention, unfortunately I don't think the photograph does it much justice, is the Rivulet by Saisha Green. Let's see if the next page is a bit more clear. Not so much. Can you see that? Maybe it's a bit more obvious here. Diagonally stacked cables on a stockinette background create converging lines that never cross. And I am really attracted to this sort of texture where you know, there's a bit more of an architectural sort of line system going on. Yeah, I think these are the main patterns that I really liked in this magazine. This is the one that made the cover, which is a very, very textured jumper. It's got its charm, but it wouldn't be my style. Moreover, how would I wear such a thick and cozy jumper in Australia? Not here in Perth, where I am, at least. So there it is, just a quick nosy inside this magazine that it's been out now for a while. I think you can still find, I believe we still have it at Calico and Ivy, or you can see all the details of the patterns online on Ravelry. What I have here, it's a massive project bag. Sorry, I'm just quickly jumping into the acquisition session because I can see this episode is being quite lengthy. So I have this massive bag here that I made a long time ago. No, maybe not a long time ago. 4 years ago, when I was still living in the UK, with this fun fabric that I think was a bundle from Aldi back then. It's quilted with something inside that is not quilting padding, something I recycled. And the most fun thing is that the lining that you can see in this also drawstring casing is a bed linen, a bed sheet that my mother-in-law gave to me, and that unfortunately tore because it was quite old. But I love it so much that I decided to turn it into the lining for this bag, and I still have the remnants, so will probably be used again. What do I have in here? In here I have my Christmas yarn, because I didn't do Advents this year. I have followed with lots of excitement a few Vlogmases, Cass, Mindful Maker, Ali, Fiberbound, my friends. I always watch Sandy by the Lakeside, Vlogmas, and I watched a little bit of A Lovely Yarn, which is another podcast that I really like, but I didn't have much time anyway, and I didn't follow along very closely. Still, I wanted to support some Australian dyers during the Christmas period, and I wanted to gift myself a little gift of yarn at Christmas. So I actually ordered 2 different packages that were under my tree, and I unwrapped on Christmas Day. One of them that I have been really looking forward to was by Rainbow and Sprinkles, who, if you don't know, is a lady based here in Perth. So I thought it would be nice to support some, people that are working around here. And that's my beautiful collection. This was the parcel that she, I think on her website, was listed just like the Christmas Eve box. And it came with this beautiful variegated skein called Merry and Bright. It's 4-ply, 400 meters, and it's got all these beautiful colors, a little bit of cream and peach, and then it's got the pink, it's got the green, it's got some red speckles in there, especially here at the bottom you can see. And it came together with this super fun collection of mini skeins in the typical Christmas colors, of course, red and green, but combined in such a fun and unexpected version. And I couldn't love this combination anymore. It's really lovely, really up my alley. So thank you. I believe Rainbow and Sprinkles, the lady is called Amanda, I think. Thank you ever so much for putting together such a fun package. Now I have to decide what I would like to make with them. I think I would really like a blanket or a big shawl to use a bit like a blanket out of them. Of course, 200 grams, it's not a huge quantity, but I think I would like to give it a go, adding maybe some other colors that I may have in my stash. My friends, I think all of the Australian podcasters I've mentioned are doing, inspired by Gay Yarn at Fibermates, are doing the Radvent blanket, which is by Amber O'Brien. You knit individual squares, so that makes it quite easy. It's about a square per color, and then I could use this one for some of the other squares. It looks like an awful lot of fun, especially because knitting one square at a time, it becomes quite potato chippy. You tick off all your squares, but I haven't decided yet, and it's not happening quite soon at the moment, I'm afraid. Very happy with this one. And another thing that I wanted to, that I ordered, that I am very happy about, is this beautiful combination, this beautiful yarn that I got from Marina at Strawberry Patches. Look at that! It makes me so happy. Now, first of all, let me remind you, a very exciting opportunity for you all. If you go on Marina's website and shop for any of her yarn or notions, or even the beautiful fiber that she dyes for you to spin, you use this code under here, you will get 10% off your purchase, and 10% will also come my way. So I thank you for the lovely people who have already taken advantage of these, for, supporting me too through that beautiful collaboration that Marina has kindly proposed. And I invite any of you who are excited as much as I am by these beautiful colors to go and have a good look at Marina's website. Anyway, I purchased these ones from her. Just a word of advice, Marina Strawberry Patches is in New Zealand, so the prices you'll see on the website are in New Zealand dollars, not Australian dollars. Marina shipped these two very quickly so that they could be under my tree, and aren't they gorgeous? And what's fun as well is the fact that the name of this colorway is Phoenix, which is the name of my dog as well. She's in the house now, but not here with me, so I can't let you say hello. And I look forward to turning these two in something special. I am thinking a colorwork jumper, pairing these colorway with a very dark chocolate color, which I think would be amazing. I'm not one for browns, but I've been craving a very dark brown jumper, and I think matched with this one would be sensational. So that's something that makes me super excited. And then Marina, who is a superstar, also added a special gift for me. There it is. This was her festive daylight. It was the yarn that she sent together with her Christmas bag bundle. It was together with some, I believe, with a project bag and some notions. So I was so lucky. Thank you so much, Marina, for so lucky as to get this one for free as a gift from Marina. And of course I like it because you can tell the orange, it's really good. So I love it. And it came with this beautiful card. Look at that. This is hand painted by a friend of her, or better, it's printed from a painting that her friend did of this little Santa that Marina made. So it's a lot of fantastic creativity and art and skills all together. And I also got a little, don't tell me, oh no, it's here. Oh, wait, I was forgetting. I got from Marina, I got another little thing that I've been looking forward to having. I hadn't got it before. It's a needle minder. Look at this little cute hedgehog, isn't it special? So this one, if you're not familiar with what a needle minder is, when you work with any sewing needles or embroidery, you can put this one with a little this one on your project, and the magnet will go underneath your fabric. So every time you want to have a break, rather than pinning the needle on your sofa, on your clothing, somewhere where it will get lost, because that's what happens to me all the time, you can just pop it on here, and as it's magnetic, you will not lose it. I think everybody should have a needle minder, honestly. So that was something I ordered from Marina too, and I haven't used it yet because I wanted to keep everything together, but I want to use it soon. And then what I forgot to say earlier is that together with the yarn of the Christmas Eve bundle by Rainbow and Sprinkles, there were some very fun stitch markers. So these little very cute gingerbread man, these two beautiful charms, a stocking and a Christmas tree. There you go. And there was also a little Christmas star that I have been using on my tea. Look at that. Look how cute that is. So I was the happiest person on planet Earth on maybe not the happiest. There were, I'm sure, a lot of kids who were more excited than me on Christmas morning, but these were beautiful gifts and special creations by some wonderful ladies that I had the privilege of being able to gift myself and unwrap on Christmas morning. So that's everything, folks. I think this is going to be a very long podcast. I'm sorry, but a lot has happened. I haven't been able to podcast. I have been busy, as many people are around Christmas time, and even the more because finally on Christmas Eve we received a large shipping that my husband had arranged last July from the UK, where we used to live until 3 years ago. When we left, we only took essentials in our suitcases, and we left most of our, homewares, lots of blankets and linens, and all our photographs from when the kids were young, when things were not so digital as much as they are now. A lot of heirlooms that I collect, from my family, and I really love. We left everywhere there together with a few pieces of furniture in storage in the UK. Now that we feel like Australia is going to be home for, at least a few more years, we decided to be reunited with them. And it was absolutely joyous to be able to, have. Sometimes I feel like I'm fed up with stuff. Sometimes I feel like really I can't take any more of these consumeristic lifestyle we have. But there are things that I do care so much about, things that I want to have near me, the material things. I have a wardrobe that's 150 years old. It belonged to my granny's auntie, and it was living in my granny's garage until my husband and I decided to set up our own house, and we refurbished it, and it's traveled with us from Italy to the UK to here, and it's amazing quality. It's beautiful. It slits all together. You assemble it without a single screw or knee or pin. It just clicks in place together, and it's a piece of my life. I just feel more complete, more whole having these things with me. And beautiful tablecloths that I will probably never use, but my granny embroidered them for me when I was a kid. It just makes me happy to have them and to feel that they surround me. And I think finally this new house where we are living now, which I really like, but still was feeling a bit like a rental, really like a rental. It is a rental, but it was feeling like a rental beforehand. Finally, with all with all our belongings being here and around us, feels like a home for me. And I am so grateful that we had the chance to do this. And it's been so hard work to deal with it all, but it makes me so happy. I have a few boxes still to deal with. My craft room in particular has been used as a dumping ground because it's not an essential room, so when you didn't know where to put something, it ended up there. So that's a bit of a mess, but I'll sort that out little by little, and I couldn't be happier to have it all here. That's been my true Christmas gift, really, this festive season. How are you? Are you well? I hope, in this sometimes really challenging world, you find solace in your crafts. You manage to carve some time for yourself to fulfill your need for crafting and for knitting and for sharing what you do with your friends and your community. And I thank everybody watching for their time, and please leave me a comment, share about this podcast. The channel hasn't grown much recently. There are a lot of amazing podcasts around, so I'm not surprised of that and not particularly saddened, but I would just like to share with everybody my enthusiasm for my makes and for the craft in general. So please like, share, subscribe, and let me know you've been here, even with just a little icon. Okay, take care, big love, happy knitting, bye.